streaming live to YouTube. I'm just going to be recording it, and I'll upload it as soon as I can. We're still going to go through the same process, though. Good morning, and welcome to Ramona Lutheran Elementary School in Ramona, California, where in a few minutes, school students will be asking questions of astronaut Chris Cassidy aboard the International Space Station as it flies across the sky at about 17,500 miles per hour. That will give the students about 8 minutes of talk time with the astronauts as the space station goes from one horizon to the other and finally goes out of range. We will be talking to the space station by amateur radio set up here at the Ramona School. And we have amateur radio operators set to man the call. Our antennas are tracking the space station as it goes across the sky, and we will be live here in about 25 minutes. In the meantime, we have a couple of people who would like to tell us about the school, and Kelly Camarano, are you here? Hello?
Good morning. It's the big day. Can you hear me? I can't hear myself. All right.
Oops. Sorry. Go ahead.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for being here. Super excited about today. I heard about the ARIS program when I filled out my application to attend the ARRL Teacher Institute in Connecticut. And I'm just listening to him in the background. And I met many mentors in Connecticut, and today has been many people working on this event, and I'd like to thank the Roars Group, Ramona Outback Amateur Radio Society for all of their work, providing their solar-powered emergency communications trailer for this event, and we've had many trainings at Dr. Joseph Attili's house over the summer and even into last year. So we have our ICOM 9700 that was granted from the ARRL for this school station grant. And we're super excited to use that today for our contact. I know we've all got friends and relatives from all over the country watching today via YouTube. So thank you all for sharing that. The kids are really excited. They've been practicing their radio protocol. Before COVID-19, we had robotics and radio theory in our afternoon STEM clubs that I taught last year. So we hope to resume those as soon as possible. And I just want to say thank you to the ARIS team and Norm Thorne for all of his guidance and all of his training that he's given to us. And Ramona Lutheran's a great school. We have a great classical Christian education here, and we also train the kids in technology and 21st century skills. So with that said, I want to introduce Pastor Terry Meyer, who is just come from our chapel service this morning. The other students will be watching live in their classrooms today, and thankfully they can learn more about amateur radio. Many of our students have indicated their interest in getting their ham radio license, so they'll be studying for their technician license over the summer. So thanks to all the parents who are here and all of you who've contributed to our STEM clubs and just supported us and encouraged us. And I'll turn it over to Pastor Meyer, Reverend Terry Meyer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Camarano. You all hear me okay? Good. Okay, so a couple of quick questions. First of all, it's dangerous when you give a pastor 10 minutes. That's not good. Who knows what a Russian cosmonaut is? Russian cosmonaut. Any of you kids know? Russian cosmonaut. It's the equivalent of an American astronaut. Does anyone know the distance of a kilometer? Kilometer is 0.6214 miles, right on the money. So I just want you to know that because I want to share with you an article that I found and I thought it was relevant for today. Rather than listen to me bloviate, I'd like to share this with you. It's written by Colonel Jack Lusma. This was written in 1983. When the Russian cosmonauts went into space in the 1950s, they reported there was no sign of a creator God, no evidence of creation. NASA astronaut Colonel Jack Lusma, who has flown over 39 million kilometers in space in both Skylab and Space Shuttle flights, disagrees with his Russian counterparts. He's quite convinced that outer space offers plenty of evidence of both creation and creator. Here's what he says. I've never been able to follow the reasoning of the two cosmonauts who said they had explored space and had not seen God. The distances they traveled didn't begin to penetrate the vast vistas of the cosmos. None of us has gone anywhere. Even after traveling 39 million kilometers in Skylab, I really haven't gone anywhere either. In comparison to the size of the universe, I've only touched the very edge. If we tried to measure the universe in kilometers, we would be taking in figures with many, many zeros on them, beyond our understanding or our ability to avoid confusion. Some astronauts have gone farther into space than I have gone. But even the men who walked on the moon were only 400,000 kilometers from Earth. They were so close that a radio message from NASA's Mission Control Center could reach them in 1 1/3 seconds. I'm not being modest when I say we haven't been anywhere yet. The size of the universe is the closest thing to infinity that I can imagine. It helps me to understand just a little bit of the infinite wisdom of the Creator God, who I'm convinced made this vast universe. There is a sense of personal danger in space travel, and I think that one of the feelings that makes a person do this kind of thing. There's a certain amount of challenge involved in risk. You extend the thing you would least like to lose, your life. But when you leave the Earth in a spacecraft, I personally think there's a real motivation to look toward God. After being in space, I certainly have a much greater appreciation of the world God has made, the universe He created. It's very clear in my mind that this universe couldn't have happened by chance. People ask me, did you have any special religious experience in space? I answer them, I'm sorry. My experience in space was no different than it was on Earth. Reading my Bible in Skylab was no different than reading it on Earth, as I had been doing daily for years. Well, there was one small difference. The pages were a little easier to turn in that weightless environment. That book tells us a lot about the world in which we're living and how it got to be the way it is. I think it's important to keep in touch with the one who made the total universe. I read that book on a daily basis here on Earth, and I talk to the one who wrote it. So why should I do any differently in space? Good point. Space does some interesting things to your body, particularly after 59 days of weightlessness. Blood tends to shift to the abdomen. So our legs thinned and our stomachs, I'll say stomachs enlarged. I can't say the other word. When we relaxed in space, our arms drifted upward. When you sleep on Earth, your neck is limp and relaxed on the pillow and doesn't move around. In space, however, your head tends to whirl around and or move from side to side. That's kind of weird. So we use a small band around our foreheads to tie us down when we sleep. Haircuts are really unique. Because there is no gravity, hair doesn't fall. You need a vacuum cleaner to prevent hair from floating around your head. Coming back to Earth also produced some difficulties. We came back from our flight with 20% less volume of blood and about 10% fewer red cells. It was difficult to walk a straight line or to proceed in an erect fashion down a straight line. We tended to wander to either side and then to overcorrect as we tried to stabilize our course. Apparently, the sensors in our legs were no longer used to any side movement. I've seen some of the intricate engineering that is necessary before a spacecraft can orbit Earth. My experiences with Skylab and the Apollo-Soyuz mission, and now in the space shuttle, reconfirm that nothing worthwhile happens without intelligent planning and design. Nothing creates itself. I don't see God in space as a physical body, but I see all kinds of evidence of his existence, his intelligence, and his power. The cosmos is far more complex than any space vehicle. If I can't believe that the spacecraft I fly assembled itself, how can I possibly believe that the universe assembled itself? I'm convinced only an intelligent God could have built a universe like this. Amen to that. I'll end it with that.
Okay, we still have a few minutes before the space station comes by. In the meantime, for our YouTube audience, let me tell people a little bit about Ramona. Ramona is a relatively small town of about 20,000 residents, about 30 miles east-northeast of San Diego, California. This is our first direct airless contact in the United States since we did the COVID-19 pandemic. We are following strict social distancing and other health regulations. This event is being held completely outdoors, which is somewhat unusual for us. Only the students asking the questions will be allowed in this area. The students will be watching a video feed in their classrooms, and students will be keeping their mask on while talking to the astronaut for their own safety. Ramona is in the hills, completely surrounded by forest. Ramona did survive the recent California wildfires without incident, but the town faces continuing threat of fire at any time. The amateur radio operations here today are being run by the Ramona Outback Radio Society, or ROARS. ROARS routinely provides disaster communication service to this rural town. Even today, ROARS is treating this event as a disaster communications drill. They have provided the equipment, including the 40-foot antenna tower you'll see behind us. Up there. That antenna will be tracking the satellite, the space station, as it goes across the sky, controlled by a computer. All of these, just one second here. All of our radios are being powered by batteries that are kept on the antenna tower, ready for deployment anytime they need it in the area. This is just another routine event for these seasoned amateur radio veterans. This event is set up and run by amateur radio operators and is organized by the Amateur Radio on the International Space Station, or ARIS, organization. If your school or organization is interested in setting up one of these events, please go to the aris.org, that's ariss.org website for the application. Now I would like to show you a quick introductory video to introduce the students to what they're about to go.
Hi, my name is Ruth.
And my name is Chris.
You must be pretty excited to talk directly with astronauts on the International Space Station today. While we're waiting for the space station to come over your portion of the sky, let's talk a little bit about how it's going to happen. Of course, Mission Control is in contact with astronauts all the time, using a big radio with lots of fancy equipment.
However,
we will be back with you in a few minutes. Let me show you the ham radio operator checking out the radios. So does anybody know how fast the space station travels? 17,500 miles per hour. That's over 25 times the speed of sound, or 10 times the speed of a speeding bullet. The space station goes around the world every 90 minutes. Today it will take about 8 to 9 minutes to go from from our horizon to the other horizon. In addition to setting up ground stations like this, ARIS volunteers build a lot of the equipment that we send up to the space station itself for the other end of this link. That includes power supplies and other hand-built equipment that was designed, built, and tested by amateur radio volunteers. The testing is quite rigorous to meet NASA's strict requirements and to make sure the equipment will be safe on board the ISS. ARIS is sponsored by the ISS National Laboratory, which is the space station itself, and the Amateur Radio Relay League. So we're now about 7 minutes till the actual contact. And unfortunately, there's no way to speed up the space station or slow it down. So if we're late for this, one of the reasons we have to start early is we need to make sure that everything is done and all the speeches are over in time for it to get here. And it will be here on time, right around 9:26. The actual difference in time will depend on how high above the horizon we can pick it up. 926 is when it will be at the horizon if we didn't have any hills in the way. But we do have a few hills in the way around here, so it may be slightly after that before we actually get to talk to them. Our students are standing here ready to go as soon as they're ready. They are all spaced 6 feet apart and making sure they maintain their social distance. Anybody know a good song?
I'll give you a little squelch here in a little bit. Some white noise in about 3 or 4 minutes.
When the actual space station starts coming over, we will start calling the station a few minutes ahead of time, and you may hear some extra noise in the background that is kind of maybe a little bit annoying. What the radio operators do is turn down the limitation on the audio so that they can make sure that they hear even the weakest signal. And so we're listening to hear the space station just as soon as we can hear it. And as soon as they do hear it and they know that they can, they'll turn that down so that you won't hear the background noise as much. And then things will start happening fairly quickly because we do have a very limited window of time to be able to talk to them. And right now you're looking at pretty much our entire setup. I'll show you the antenna again. This is the antenna that we'll be using to track the ISS across the sky. It is tied to a computer here on our table that is doing the tracking. Right now we're watching where the space station is, and where is it right now? To the southwest of us. It's out over the Pacific Ocean, and it should be getting here very soon. We're now at 9:24 by my clock, 9:24 and a half, and by 9:26 we could start hearing from them. So in another minute or so we're going to start calling them, and hopefully we'll see them or talk to them soon. Okay, Kelly. Kelly Camarano will be making the first call. Sure, go ahead and start calling.
NA1SS, this is N6ROR. November Alpha 1, Sierra Sierra, this is November 6. Romeo, Oscar Romeo. So excited. Anyone assess? This is N6ROR. Anyone assess? This is N6ROR. Thank you, Commander, sir. Thank you for your service, sir. We're so excited to talk to you from Ramona Lutheran Christian School.
Please.
Excited to talk to you as well. Happy to hear from the kids.
And we wish you Godspeed on your trip home next week. Here is our first question.
Hi, I'm Cassie. How has Expedition 63 changed your outlook on life? Over.
Hi, Cassie. Well, actually, it's what's been going on Earth during Expedition 63 that changed my outlook on life. I've been in space before. I knew kind of what life would be like. I knew what Earth would look like from the window. But all of the events of 2020, while I've been up here, has been very interesting for me to watch. Over.
Hi, I'm Amelia. What is your favorite thing to look at in space? Over.
Hi, Amelia. My favorite thing to look at while I'm in space is believe it or not, my crewmates. It's just fun to be up here with people that you enjoy, and together we like to look out the window and enjoy meals and laugh. So it makes it special when you're here with friends. Over.
Hi, I'm Kaylee. What is most difficult when you are recovering from returning to Earth? Over.
Hi, Kaylee. When you're returning to Earth, it's most difficult to get used to balance. Your senses that tell you how to stay balanced and upright don't work very well for the first week or two. So that's the most difficult thing. Over.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. What does it feel like when you're on a spacewalk? Over.
Hi, Elizabeth. When you're on a spacewalk, the feeling isn't much different to your body than when you're inside, but what you see with your eyes is a completely different perspective. Even though we're no higher or lower than the window than when we look out the space station, it's just that you have no metal around you. It's just your eyes looking through your visor. You see your toes and the Earth going past your toes at 5 miles a second, and it really makes you feel like you're on the very, very edge of humanity. Over.
Hi, I'm Cora. What was the strangest thing that happened to you while you're in space? Over.
Hi, Cord. When we've been here, there's a very small leak somewhere on the space station, and we are trying to find it, and that's the strangest thing, because normally we have equipment to help us identify the location of a leak, but this is so tiny that we can't exactly pinpoint it. So that's for sure been the strangest thing. Over.
Hi, I'm Cody. What is your favorite activity when you have free time on the ISS? Over.
Cody, when we have free time, we just like to look out the window and watch Earth go by beneath us. We can do a lot of things up here that we do on Earth, like watch TV, read a book, call on the telephone, do email. But there's only one thing that we can't do. Well, two things. One is float, and the other is watch Earth below us. Over.
Hi, I'm Roman. How likely do you think it is that I will visit outer space in my lifetime, even if I never become an astronaut? Over.
Hi, Roman. I actually think it's very likely that you and all your classmates and the people who are your age around the world, it's very, very likely that you'll have the option to travel in space without being an astronaut. Much like a tourist or an adventure trip, I think in the not too distant future, sometime in our lifetimes, that will be the case. Over.
Hi, I'm Oliver. What does it feel like to sleep on my ISS? Over.
Oliver, it's pretty relaxing. It takes some getting used to not to have a pillow, and also for me, I think about the spaceship a lot. So you're always listening for funny noises or an alarm to go off. So you have to completely turn your brain off and allow yourself to rest. But other than that, once you fall asleep, it feels the same as I'm at home. Over.
Hi, Hi, I'm Grayson. What mission were you most scared of? Over.
Oh, Grayson, scared maybe is not the right word because I feel pretty confident with our training and the ground team's expertise to keep us safe and look out for our best interests. But I think of all the activities that we do as astronauts, it's probably re-entry, coming back home to Earth that is makes me think most about all the physics that are happening. And on a launch, all the scary stuff that can hurt you is behind you. On a coming back in, re-entry, all the scary stuff that can hurt you is in front of you. Over.
Hi, I'm Cade. What was your favorite experiences of Expedition 63? Over.
Well, Cade, my most memorable experience of Expedition 63 were probably welcoming the Crew Dragon capsule, the very first time that commercial vehicle has launched astronauts to the space station, and I was lucky enough to be here to open the hatch and welcome in my friends Bob and Doug. That has been my favorite experience. Over.
Hi, I'm Mikhail. What has been your favorite experiment on the ISS? Over.
Hi, Mikhail. So far, my favorite experiment has been one involved with food. I've been eating a particular set of experiments where there's lots of fruits and vegetables involved in it, and I didn't know if I would like it or not, but it's been my favorite experiment because I enjoy my meals very much every single day. Over.
Hi, I'm Olivia. About how many repairs are made each week aboard the ISS? Over.
Well, Olivia, fortunately, it's not that many per week. Things do break up here, and we do have to fix stuff, and I would say probably once a month, and sometimes it's a very trivial thing. But if you count computers, though, computers, just like at home, computers are failing often, and we have lots of them. So maybe if you count computers, we're doing one a week. Over.
Hi, I'm Kenzie. What is your favorite game to play in space? Over.
Hi, Kenzie. My favorite game to play up here is racing around the space station while you're floating and we have different rules, like you can't hit anything and you got to make a clean turn, or you go straight as you can without hitting any walls. We are grown-ups, but when it comes to floating, we're kids just like you. Over.
Hi, I'm Danica. What are your 3 favorite foods to eat while on the ISS? Over.
Hi, Danica. My 3 favorite foods to eat up here are mango peach smoothies, hot chocolate, and seafood gumbo. Over.
Hi, I'm Sebastian. What language has been the most challenging to communicate aboard the ISS? Over.
Sebastian, we spend a lot of time as Americans learning Russian, and our cosmonaut crewmates spend a lot of time learning English. The other countries, European astronauts, Japanese astronauts, and Canadian astronauts all speak English, and they study Russian as well. For me, it's been Russian. I do okay, and I can get my point across, but it's still very difficult for me to communicate 100% in Russian. Over.
Hi, I'm Cassie. What food are you most looking forward to eating when you get home? Over.
Cassie, when I get home, I'm most looking forward to a full chocolate and chips.
Hi, I'm Amelia. What fear have you had regarding space? Over.
Yes. Up here, we think a lot about fire and depressurization in the spaceship. So that's something that we train for very much. We think about making sure that we have all of our actions ready and memorized in the event of any of those cases. Over.
73 is ready to go.
73!
Thank you, Commander and Captain. Go Navy!
Well, thank you, everybody there. Go Navy as well. We had the Navy birthday yesterday, and it was great to be on board the International Space Station, and I wish you guys all the best. And thank you for having a nice competition. We have a wonderful rest of your school year.
This is N6ROR. Out.
Anyone that says that, take care. Bye-bye.
I want to say thanks again to our Roars group, Ramona Outback Amateur Radio Society. Let's give them a hand. I also want to thank all the students for practicing at being quick and loud. And we got many questions in a 7-ish minute window. So today was 43 degrees. If we would have had our contact tomorrow, it would have been 84 degrees, but they're obviously busy tomorrow. So anyway, happy day after the Navy birthday, and thanks again for coming, all you parents. Thank you to Ramona Lutheran Church and School, Pastor Terry Meyer and Mrs. Meyer, all the teachers for decorating and for their support. And we love all of our students here, and hopefully we'll have more after this whole COVID thing. Thank you to Norm Thorne and his team from Eris Amateur Radio on the ISS, International Space Station. Thanks again, everybody, for coming.
Okay.